Today on Ask This Old House.
I'm going to give this old kitchen a brand new dishwasher.
I'm actually looking forward to doing my dishes tonight.
And I'm going to show you how to make vinyl siding not look like vinyl siding. So this is what we started with, and this is what we ended up with. We've taken that old 70s vinyl look right off this house, Rich.
Details like this make a big difference.
That's next on Ask This Old House. The most popular way to side our houses in this country is with vinyl, and for pretty good reason. It holds up to the weather, you don't have to paint it, and in the field at least, it does a pretty good job of tricking the eye. If you look at this vinyl right here, you might actually think that that is a traditional clapboard. But where it falls down is in the details, on the corner boards and at the trim around doors and windows. And part of the reason is because vinyl, well, it's hollow. And this profile right here, it needs to be covered up at the edges. And you can see around this window, they did it using what they call a J-channel. And that, well, it just doesn't look like a traditional siding job. But it's not the vinyl's fault, it's actually the installer's fault. You can install vinyl so that it does look like a traditional siding job. So Rich, what do you think of the job they did on this house?
It's a typical early 1970s jump casing vinyl siding job.
Which means what?
In a jump casing, what they do is they cut the windowsill off at the edge of the storm window, cover that with aluminum. They pull off the bed molding, or a molding that goes around the outside edge of the window, and then they put a J-channel up next to the edge of the windowsill all the way around, and then cover over the window casing with the vinyl.
Doesn't sound like you're a fan of this.
It takes all the architectural detail out of the house and really looks terrible.
So you've got a way to actually return some of that detail and to do it using vinyl?
Correct. We have a full vinyl windowsill that we'll cut and make to the original size of the windowsill. And then we have a vinyl casing cover that will go around the outside perimeter of the window.
All right, how do we get started?
We pull off the storm window.
Okay, let's get to it.
Now we got all the screws out, so all we got to do is pry the window loose from the caulking and take it right off.
Okay, I got it.
Now we're going to remove all the siding around the window. We're going to use this zip tool to hook up underneath the vinyl siding until it clicks in, then you know it's locked. Pull it down, stretch it out, and zip across.
So you just disconnected those two courses.
Correct. You lift up the panel. Generally you pull out the nails, but there aren't any nails in here, so this one here will pop right down. And it does.
Look at that, no nails, huh? Let's take that.
Some guy's trying to cut corners, making up time. And we just pull the nails out of the rest of these as we go. Now we got to use our zip tool again to get this window cut around. Get this other side out.
Like that.
We'll remove the rest of the siding course by course. All right, now we're going to pull off this last piece of J-channel.
All right, so all the siding is off. We're going to reuse any of these pieces?
We're going to recut the siding to fit in after the casing, but the J-channel we're not going to use.
So we recut these pieces here, huh?
Right.
Okay, well, I'll get rid of that J-channel and I'll put these aside. What's with this piece of furring right here, Rich?
Well, if you pull back the paper here, you can see they've actually got a second layer of shingles on here.
Right.
So they put this piece of wood on to fur out so you have the same plane coming across.
I see, okay. Now, will we keep this on?
We will. We'll just hook right onto this with the new casing. Now we're going to remove the aluminum that's covering the windowsill. I'm going to score the aluminum with my razor knife. Just like that. Then we pull the nails out of the side. We got another nail on the other side. Now that we've got the siding off, you can see how they cut the sill to accept the siding.
Used to come all the way over here, but they notched out this corner. Okay, and what are we going to cover this with?
We're going to cover it with a vinyl sill.
All right.
And you can see we already have it notched out.
Okay.
It's just set right in there.
So this will cover up the sill, but it'll also extend past the edge of the window, just like it used to be.
Right.
I see the end here is hollow. How do you treat that?
We have an end cap that we're going to fit right in there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then we're going to glue it in place.
And then how do you secure this?
The sill?
Yeah.
We're going to pin it down with finish nails. And to glue on the end cap, I'm using a vinyl adhesive.
So we used to have a J channel brought all the way to the edge of the window, and then we slid the siding in behind it. But we're going to get rid of this, although we still need a J channel anytime we have vinyl siding, right?
Correct.
So what are we going to use?
Well, we got a casing face that's going to hook right onto the wood. Then you have a molding that hooks right into that.
Yep.
Then your J channel hooks right into the molding.
So we still have a J channel, but in this case it's hidden, and we've added back two architectural details, the molding and the casing face.
Correct. And now you have an original colonial window casing. We want the angle of the casing to follow the angle of the sill. So I'm going to scribe it with my pencil and cut it with my snips. Now that it's cut, we dry fit it in place, slide it down, and that's a perfect cut. Now what we've done here is we've scribed the bottom of this to match the angle of the sill, just like we did on the casing face. We have a little hook here that's going to hook right into the casing face.
Okay. And that's actually the molding and the J channel already put together.
Yep. All right. Slide it in, lock it.
So where this top molding hits the side molding, we need some sort of a miter cut?
Right. We're going to take and make a coping cut to match this molding so they lay together perfectly.
Okay.
And what we'll do is we'll just take and mark the inside edge of our molding lock on each side.
All right.
Now I'm going to take this aluminum coping jig, slide it right over the molding, right up to the mark.
So this helps you get a precise cut every time?
Every time.
There it is. Okay.
Now we draw a line with our pencil right on the edge. And there's our mark. This should go in like a glove.
Let's see how this fits.
Now you lift it up and over and lock it in.
Nice tight fit.
All right, just take a J channel, roll it in, get it to snap up. We're ready to nail it off.
When we nail it off, we ready to start putting the siding back up?
We are. All right, now we're gonna get the siding back in.
Okay, let's have a look at it. So this is what we started with. We've got a windowsill that's been cut off at either side. We've got no casings, and then we've got this J channel all the way around the perimeter. And this, this is what we ended up with. We got ourselves a proper size sill extended on either side now. Got a full casing and even a colonial molding. And I'll tell you what, you have taken that old 70s vinyl look right off this house, Rich.
Details like this make a big difference.
Well, they sure do. Nice job, Rich. Thank you. You know, I asked Rich why so many of these vinyl jobs end up using that jump casing technique, and it turns out it's just about installation cost.
Right. Well, a lot of people are just looking for that low bid. And if an installer can come in and just cover up all the trim with the siding, he can save a lot of time and money, and the homeowner can meet that low bid.
Right. But you don't have to. There are ways that you can actually leave that detail exposed.
Right. Just leave the trim as is on the house, bring your J channel up against the side of it, and you're done.
Right. But in that case, you do have exposed wood, which means you have to scrape it and paint it over the years.
Right. Right. Well, the other option is take the J channel, put it up against your existing trim, and cover all that trim with aluminum sheet stock. Now, aluminum sheet stock you'd have to form on site with a brake, and you can make it any configuration that you want. So you could form it around the sill, you could form it around the casing,
Right.
and you can even form it around the molding, but you won't get as detailed as this.
Right, and I think that's one of the things I liked about this product, is that you get these traditional details in terms of the molding profiles, but also Rich was saying that you can mix and match colors.
And the nice thing about this, a lot of these big Victorian houses people cover because they're so big they don't want to paint them. They have multiple colors. The sash is one color, the casing is another, and this molding is another color.
Well, you know what? It looks good, and I think it's going to give vinyl siding a good name.
I do too.
Well, Kelly, I got to tell you, I just love this style of house. The Craftsman style bungalow. It's an American classic, really popular in the 30s. What amazes me is this. This wood has not been painted in all these years.
Exactly. We love it too. And we even have the original cabinetry in the kitchen. And actually, that's why I wanted you to come in here. We took out one of the cabinets with the intention of putting in a dishwasher.
All right, so you have a hole.
Yes.
You have a dishwasher?
Yes.
So you need a plumber.
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's see how you did. The standard opening for a dishwasher is 24 inches, so you're good there. And it needs to be 24 inches deep. So even these old cabinets are just about right.
Okay.
Now, there's 3 connections we'll need to make to a dishwasher. One is hot water has to come in. So you've got a hot pipe right here that we can tap into.
Okay.
It also needs electricity. Fortunately, you've got an outlet right here, so we can plug into that.
Okay.
But you also need a discharge. That soapy water has to leave the dishwasher. It has to go into the drain. But I see something that catches my eye. Underneath this kitchen sink, there seems to be no trap. Now, the trap is a device that's designed to go down like this and to hold water in so sewer gas doesn't come up. And it also needs to be vented. I'm hoping we see what we're looking for down in the basement.
I hope so too.
All right.
Okay.
All right, well, down here in the basement, here is that drain from your kitchen sink, and it comes to a trap, a drum trap. Good
trap.
news.
Okay.
All right, and when I look right here, I also see a vent pipe, and that's also good news. This pipe goes up through the building, connects to the pipe that goes through the roof, and it's really important to make a kitchen sink drain work right without gurgling. Now, this drum trap is not very popular these days.
Why?
Well, a drum trap is easy to clog and difficult to clean. Water coming down filled with food waste comes down into this chamber. This is all filled with water. Now, food might settle right here. Now, if I try to run a snake down, the snake is not going to make its way through this chamber easily. So the only way to clean it is to pull this plug and dump it into a bucket. So nowadays, modern plumbing would use a P-trap. Now, the P-trap is self-scouring. Water and waste coming down would sort of clean this trap. Now, if I ever did need to run a snake down, look how the snake would just go right through it easily and keep it clean. So the modern plumber wouldn't use this nowadays. He would take a trap like this and put it up underneath the kitchen sink. But we don't have to change this. We have a working trap and a vent, so we can get to work.
All right.
All right, so here's your new dishwasher. You must be excited.
I am.
All right, we're going to start with our hot water supply to the dishwasher.
Okay.
You got a pipe right here that feeds hot water to the kitchen sink. It has a shutoff like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this shutoff with one that looks very similar, but it has 2 branches. This one will go off to the kitchen sink, this one to the dishwasher. Now, I've got the water shutoff down in the basement, and I just need to break these connections. Now, these are compression connections, so they're solderless, so any homeowner can do them. And now I want to break the connection between the valve and the pipe. All right, so here's our new shutoff valve, and when I make a compression connection, normally I would take this nut at the bottom and put it onto the pipe. The next is this brass ring. It's called a ferrule, and that fits over the copper pipe like so. And then when this nut is tightened up, it compresses the ferrule so hard that it fuses right down into that pipe. Now, on this existing pipe, we already have a ferrule and a nut, and that ferrule is fully compressed into the pipe. So I'm going to reuse this nut and ferrule with our new valve and tighten it up. All right, I'm going to just make the connection with the old kitchen sink supply hose onto the new valve on one of the branches.
Okay. So why do I need a valve there?
Well, you really want to have shutoff valves under every single fixture for service. Someday, the faucet will need repair or the dishwasher. For a hot water supply to the dishwasher, I'm going to use the stainless steel braided hose. Now, on a shutoff valve right here, we have a nut and a ferrule on the branch. We're not going to use this nut and ferrule either. because the hose actually has a nut that's already on it.
So we don't need the ferrule for this one?
Right, it's still called a compression connection, but you don't need the ferrule, and this will make a nice watertight seal. All right, so there is our water line roughed in for the dishwasher. Next thing we're going to pay attention to is the discharge hose from the dishwasher. Now, normally, if you had a garbage disposer, there's a branch right on the side where this thing fits perfectly, but you don't. So you have this pipe right here. It's called a tailpiece. They make a tailpiece designed exactly for this connection called a dishwasher tailpiece. And we're going to replace this with this. There's a bottom nut, too, I have to loosen. There we go. All right, so here's our old piece up against the new piece, which is a little bit longer. So I will hold that up, and I will mark the new piece. And I need to cut it. Now, I could use a hacksaw, but I've got this great tubing cutter that fits this size tube, and this will make a perfect clean cut. Okay, so there's our new piece at the proper length. Now at the top, we have a gasket we're going to add right here. It's a special top gasket, fits right there, and the nut comes up. But I still need a nut at the bottom, so just hold on to that piece. I'm going to actually reuse this nut. Now this nut has a nut and a gasket all in one. That'll fit right here, and we are ready to reconnect it. All right, let's just tip this back. There's a couple of connections on the front bottom of this dishwasher that are easy to be made if I tip it back. One is the water connection. There's an adapter elbow right here. I've already added Teflon tape to it, and I have to thread it in right here. Okay. I'm going to be careful not to mangle the threads. All right, I want to stop it right about there because I've got to feed my water line. Remember the stainless braided line like this? It has to fit exactly into this trough between here and the floor, and then I'll make my connection right there. All right, so that's ready to go on the water. So now we have to think about the electrical. I'm going to connect this heavy-duty appliance plug right into this junction box right here, and we'll be ready to install. We have an electrical connection to make. You'd think it'd be simple, right? It's 3 wires to 3 wires. On the unit, we've got black, which is hot, white is neutral, and green is the ground. But on this appliance plug, look at this. It's 2 gray wires with copper and 1 green. How do we know which one goes to which? We have a 50% chance of getting it wrong. Well, on any appliance plug like this, if you look carefully, there's a smooth side right here and a rib side. I don't know if you can see that right there. See the ribs on the side right there? The smooth side is the hot, and that goes to black.
Boy, you really got to pay attention.
You do. It's a polarized plug. It's pretty important. Make the wire nut connections. Okay, and finally the ground. Now we have to fit this water line under that very narrow groove underneath the dishwasher, so I've taped it into place, and now we're ready to slide the dishwasher in. Let's not scratch the floor, lift it. Now, stop right there. I'm going to hand you both the electrical and the drain line.
Okay.
There's a little opening that I can hand it to you right there. See it?
Almost. Yep, got it.
Okay, good. Pull it through. All right, they're 2 different lengths.
Uh-huh.
So now I'm going to try to guide this over that water line. And there's our water line.
All right.
Good. So now I can make up this water line connection. So now I need to secure the dishwasher to the underside of the countertop and level it. All right, so that clamp is tight. Now what I also did was to secure this hose as high as I could get it up inside the cabinet. I want to make it so if this sink ever had a backup, all that nasty water wouldn't go this way and go back into your dishwasher.
That's a good tip.
All right, Kelly, water's back on. Any leaks?
Nope, no
We
leaks.
get lucky again.
We did.
Plug in the electricity.
Okay. Got it.
All right, let me show you what you got here.
Okay.
There's a power button right here. Mm-hmm. Nice little jingle when it starts. There's some buttons right here. Normally you'll hit that one. Go.
All
Normal.
right. There we go.
All right. And there you go. You have a dishwasher. Isn't that cool?
I have a dishwasher. I'm actually excited about doing my dishes tonight.
Well, knock yourself out. And if you're looking forward to completing a project, but you need a little help, let us know. Until next time, I'm Rich Trithewey for Ask This Whole House. Hey, you know, this whole 16-place series.
Oh, I may need a new dining room.
Call Tommy.
Next time on Ask This Old House.
In the summer, we had beautiful, tall, healthy sunflowers. We had lilies. We had rose bushes. And then the droughts came, and you can see what I have now.
I'm headed to Texas to plant a native garden.
This is a show place you've given us. Thank you so much. It's great.
And it's time for an upgrade, so I'm installing windows. All right, now I'm going to push you up all the way.
Looks good, Tom.